Is a rapid-fire walkthrough of the Essentials playlist, and each of these rapid-fires I'm going to be hitting every knot on the playlist, and I'm not going to be going too deeply into my thoughts and comments about them. I will have dedicated videos for all of that. This is just a really quick single-piece reference. If you wanted one video to remember them all, this would be the one. Okay, Oysterman Stopper first. Working end is here. We're going to come relatively close to the working end when we tie this. I'm going to make a noose there. And this line here is this line here. It goes in this direction, so I'm going to go in this direction and through the noose draw there and tighten that down to check our work. Look at the bottom, three-lobed looking structure right there, most efficient, and then wrench that up to give it some slack, pull the noose, and it pulls free and open. That's our Oysterman Stopper. Next up, my favorite hitch, the rolling hitch. Give yourself some extra room. The weight, we're going to pretend this is a crate. We're going to drag it this way by this handle, cross in behind in the direction that you're going to be pulling from, past in the direction of the weight once, and then a second time stay on that side and let that become a half hitch. This is our rolling hitch. It will take perpendicular force, it will take draw force, and it has some other nifty things. One little thing to worry about, don't let this happen. That is bad. This has to be over here. This is much stronger, this is much more secure, much better knot. Don't let it capsize. If you tie that knot back upon itself, our loop is over here, so the weight is going to be on this side, so you start your spirals on this side, cross past. Gotta make that tight. There we go. Nice and snug. Lock the top with a half hitch. It is the exact same knot, just tied upon itself. See? Looks identical. Now when you pull on it hard, it will stay, and it will adjust when you want it to adjust. If you overload it, it will adjust until it has enough grab to stick to itself. So it will function kind of like a shock absorber, although there are better knots for that. Next up, Butterfly, Alpine Butterfly loop. Wrap around completely once. On your next pass, put it in the middle of those two. Grab this, give it some slack into your palm and underneath both of these two. Keep your sides straight. Notice we didn't have to use the ends whatsoever. You can tie this in the bite. The downside is it's hard to put it around something first and then pull it through like that. It will have kind of an X shape here. If we did it correctly, these should be locked, these two half hitches should be locked together and not able to separate. I'm also going to show you the Trixie method. Turn in one direction, forming an X, turn in that same direction, notice, there we go, up and cross underneath. There we go. This does not, neither of these cut the pulling strength of the line by as much as it would if you were to use another knot in the same circumstance. You can load it equally from either direction. It will take load from just one side or from both sides. One thing to watch out for when you're using the Trixie method, and that's why it's kind of an advanced thing, don't cross one way and then cross back the other way, because when it gets finished, you notice that these come apart. They're not locked together. That is very bad. That is going to kill you. Okay, if you do want to pass your loop underneath something, form an eye on this side, your loop comes from this direction, up and around. I like going the other way. That's a Danish bowline. This is a bowline, by the way. There we go. Now that you have that basic concept, don't tie that knot. Tie it with a double eye. It's much, much better with the double eye because it doesn't have that nasty tendency to shake itself free. You would follow it yourself back down here and then tighten from these two before pulling down here, or one of the creative things that I like about it, make yourself a double adjusting loop that way. And now this has the wonderful property of two loops that will adjust to each other to distribute force if there's uneven weight upon them. There we go. Now, both of those loops can be converted into bends, so I'm going to show that right now. Okay. Form a U, make sure you keep track of which side is the working end. It's that side on this case. Inside, pass in the direction of your working end there, and around. Now, I like the slip. You can just put it through here if you like. That is a sheet bend. That is not, weirdly, that is not as secure as the slipped sheet bend, and that's because this line right here has more to bite down on, like this. If you want one that does not have a slip in it, let's just loosen that a bit. Go around twice. Double sheet bend. Much better. Okay. Now, let's go back to the butterfly that we were just on. It's basically identical. Start there for our beginning. Now, the different part is in how we proceed from here. Cross over once, meet, grab both of these, let it catch there. You notice this is very similar to our Trixie method. If done correctly, these two should be interlocked with each other, and they are, and the colors should separate there, for being in the direction that they pull. Grab wing, and it's essentially as though you made a butterfly loop and just cut it right here at the bottom of the loop. And there we go. Okay, very last thing, a lash. This is a square lash. We're going to have two different colored sticks to work with that. Start with a pair of half hitches, that is a clove hitch. There, and I'm going to, there we go, get that decently tight. Okay, now the brown stick is underneath the black stick. You go underneath the one that's underneath and over the one that's over. I would recommend a minimum of 2 passes around. And I'm just going to show you that. Okay, then finish with a clove hitch again. Now, normally I hate clove hitches, but I'm going to give you the reasoning behind this, and that's because you can use it as a winch. It will... I gotta flip it around for the full effect. As I'm pulling down and pulling this up, it's taking a little slack out of this line without me having to pull on pieces of it like that. Does the exact same thing, and you can tighten it down on both sides. Now this will take decent force that way, and I haven't tested it from here. Comments or description will tell you if it's alright for diagonals. There's actually a diagonal lashing that's specifically made for that, and that's what I recommend if you're going to be giving it diagonal force. But for perpendiculars, the square lash is quite nice. Okay, that is our essentials playlist. Each of these knot tyings should have been links to videos about them, where I give my more in-depth thoughts about each of these knots. Pros and cons and different special versions and so on and so on and so on. But I just didn't want to do all of my editing on all of them all in one go, because that's the last video that I did editing for. It took me like several hours. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like my material, you can give me a thumbs up. To raise my ranking in search results, get a subscription to to see more videos like this in the future, or something that you request. You can discuss me on Reddit, because if you discuss me on any kind of Google Plus commenting system, I will read it, but I will not respond because I hate Google Plus. If you want to support me in a more direct way, you could share my videos so that I get some more, ad revenue, or way more directly, you can go to my shop and buy something like this that is super quick release. Look at that. This one happens to be about 5 feet, but that's because I have inhumanly tiny wrists. If you have a normal human-sized wrist, it will be about 7 or 8 feet, depending on the pattern, if you want it super rapid deployment like this one, although I also have them ranging all the way up to the 18 to 20 foot range, depending on how much cord you want to wear. This one right here is a 10-footer, and it's about an inch across. Actually, these are the most rapid of deployments of anything that I've got right now. I'm actually going to demo this one in a video pretty soon. Alright, thank you for watching.